protection of environment, and socio-economic development. The objectives of the FishX project are also closely linked to the EU Sustainable Blue Economy approach and the Common Fishery Policy, as well as to the Gaia-X initiative. Gaia-X contributes to the goals of the European data strategy and aims to create a unified cloud infrastructure shared across Europe, so that we will have a data space based on data sovereignty, security, interoperability, and modularity of Gaia-X. But let me explain the specific project context in a little more detail. To help achieve the objectives of the Farm to Fork strategy and the Common Fisheries Policy, the European Commission published a call for innovative action on the digital transition for sustainable fisheries, which led to the project. The call recommended addressing small-scale and recreational fisheries, as these two groups account for a significant share of employment and fish capture, but may also be a potential entry of fraudulent fish into EU markets while being relatively unregulated by current EU regulations. Expected outcomes of this call are to develop new monitoring and control strategies to stop illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and promote sustainable fisheries in the EU and globally. Advance the digital transition for fisheries inspection and control, as well as supporting the digital transition in the small-scale and recreational fisheries, including education and training, and to provide innovative tech solutions such as machine learning and artificial intelligence for improving monitoring, control, and traceability. So FishX comes at a strategic moment to demonstrate the added value of digital tools to help gain small-scale and recreational fishers' acceptance and contribute to sustainable and transparent fishing activities and seafood products. So what is FishX all about? The project consortium believes in the common responsibility to foster sustainable fisheries and marine biodiversity. In this collaborative project, we drive digital innovation to enable the sustainable exploitation of common natural resources and develop accessible technologies to empower small-scale fisheries and give them credibility towards the customer. The project officially started in June this year and runs for 3 years. Its total budget is €6 million, of which 4.5 is funded by the EU. The project consortium consists of 7 partners from Belgium, France, Germany, and Portugal, with affiliates in the Adriatic Sea and Portugal. FishX focuses on the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, and the Baltic coast and targets small-scale and recreational fisheries. Although FishX is a tech and open source driven project, there are multiple dimensions that the project needs to take into account when working towards the project goals, as indicated by the X in the pentagonal shape here. In order to meet this requirement, the FishX consortium will continue to engage with relevant stakeholders from all different levels to understand their requirements, needs, and current barriers with respect to the digital transition in fisheries. This webinar, with you dear participants as relevant stakeholders, surely provides a very good example for the needed form of engagement on the different dimensions. The FishX consortium consists of a variety of companies and organizations, all of which are experts in their field. We have UTech as our network and communication partner, who's in charge of our PR activities and events, as well as for the development of a European fisheries roadmap. Sienna, doing continuous community engagement with small-scale fishing communities, ensuring successful use case development and supporting the project partners on communication and outreach. WWF Environmental Policy Office and affiliate offices who are contributing to the stakeholder engagement and are doing policy analysis and advocacy as well as use case development. North.io, who's developing the FishX data space within the Gaia-X infrastructure. CLS, with their mission to design and implement space solutions to monitor and support fisheries, is developing the Insight platform for the project. Ours, who has developed a blockchain-based traceability platform that enables consumers to have direct and unalterable insights into the history of products, will focus on implementing this solution within the fisheries industry. And finally, we have Transmatec, who is responsible for the coordination of the project. Together, we are working towards the project goals of FishX, which are to fight illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, promote the sustainable use of common natural resources, support honest fishers and help generate fair economic returns, foster synergies between fisheries, authorities, supply chain actors, and consumers, advance the digital transition for small-scale and recreational fisheries, as well as to contribute to traceable, healthy, and sustainable food. The main outcome of the FishX project are 3 minimum viable products consisting of the FishX data space, the Insight platform, and the traceability app. The data space is embedded in the Gaia-X infrastructure and intended to help enforce control fishing regulations more effectively in the future in order to protect endangered fish stocks. The Insight platform is the user interface of the FishX data space, hosting various sources of fisheries data, such as fishing vessel distributions and fish stock status, ready for institutions, science, and general audience to use. The traceability app is blockchain-based, which enables consumers to have direct and unalterable insights into the history of their purchased seafood, from catch to retail, leading to security and transparency for customers and consumers, as well as to fair returns and increased credibility for fishers. The development of these products will be accompanied by 3 use cases, with 1 each on the Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Baltic coast, from which we also intend to derive policy recommendations in a sense of easing the implementation of the main EU fisheries and seafood policies. Before I come to an end of the presentation, I would take the opportunity to announce the launch of the FishX website, where you can get informed and stay informed on the latest developments and upcoming events. And also please feel also invited to become part of the FishX community by a webinar speaker, interview partner, or just get in touch with us and share your expertise, or ask questions if you have any about the project. I would take the opportunity and give you a brief overview. Why isn't that not working? Igor, I can't share, the button is gone. Sorry to share.
Okay. No problem.
Are you showing the website? Or?
Yes, I will show now.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, as mentioned. So please get, inform yourself about the website, and there's also this contact button where you can, fill out the contact form and get in touch. And also, please follow us on social media. The links are also provided on the website, and help us to spread the word and participate in our next webinar. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Fabian, for giving us a brief overview of what the FishX project is about and the main goals that we are trying to achieve. Following up on this, we would now like to give the floor to the 2 experts that I have introduced at the beginning of the webinar. Our first speaker is Mr. Yassine Atter, and he is a part of our FishX consortium. Yassine works for CLS as solution manager to develop new software solutions in support of sustainable fisheries. Mr. Atter will present the concept of electronic reporting which is already deployed on fishing vessels. He will furthermore demonstrate a software solution which has been developed by CLS to give us all a better understanding of how such a system may work. Mr. Attel, thank you very much for being with us today. The stage is yours.
Okay, many thanks, Mr. Igor. Many thanks all for your participation. As Igor said, I am Yassine Attel and I am a solution manager in CLS. So I will present you today an example of industrial electronic logbooks. Okay, this electronic logbook is mainly used in several countries, but I will present you the one which is used in the Indian Ocean. Okay, so for information, CLS has developed several other electronic logbooks in Africa, in Europe, in South America, in the USA. So here, in fact, the electronic logbook must be configured and customized to fit the needs of any customers. And each customer has its specificities in terms of catches and declarations. So here our solution is made to be very customizable to fit this need. So I will start showing present this example. So here, log into the application. This application is called multi-platform, so it could be installed and deployed on a mobile, on a tablet, or in a computer. It depends, in fact, on the needs of the customer. So here you have the current trip, and you have what we called a workflow. So the captain must start his fishing trip here by clicking on the departure from port. Actually, he's leaving the port, so he will start, in fact, his fishing trip. The start date and the port could be automatically pre-filled because this solution is linked to a satellite transmitter. I will explain afterwards. And these fields could be pre-filled automatically. So here, let's say the captain has left the port, so he will declare this departure from port. From this stage, he has the possibility to declare as many fishing activities as needed through all his fishing campaign. So let's click here and here. You have an example of fishing activity. As I said before, there are too many examples. So here it is just one example for purseaners. Okay. So as you see, the dates and the longitude and latitude are automatically filled. And then you can say, okay, if the captain has catched something, he has to declare it using this form. So let's say he catched some albacore. He can say, okay, I catched 4,000 kilograms of this species. He can also declare and must declare discards. And here to do so, he just have to click here to say, okay, this species was not retained but discarded here. And let's say he discarded turtles, for example, and this turtle swam away. Okay, let's say 2 turtles discarded, and so on. Okay, so he can continue and declare all his captures. Here it is just specific to this kind of fishing with purseaners using, in fact, fishing aggregated devices. So here I will not go through all these functionalities because we don't have time, but it is just to show you that it is possible and it is completely configurable. So let's send this first fishing activity and the captain could continue. Okay. And then when he finished his fishing trip, he just have to either click on this end of fishing saying that it is just a way to prepare, in fact, the whole logistics in port. Or he can just click on a return to port saying that, okay, the fishing trip is actually finished. And by default, the port is the same as from the departure, but he can, for example, he can, of course, update it. Okay. And then he has the possibility to either land all the catches that he has on his wells, or he can perform some transshipments at port. Okay. So let's say he wants to declare a landing activity. Here, you can see everything here that he has, and he has to submit. So here, you can either declare a partial landing. So the captain has just to update, in fact, the total that, let's say, 2,000 kilograms and not the whole amount of catches that he has. Or he can also perform a global landing, okay, a total landing, and empty all the wells. Okay. So that was a brief presentation of this solution. Okay. As I said before, this is for industrial vessels, for porciners, but as it is extremely configurable, it could fit also to the small scale fisheries. So in fact, what we do is we work with the customers, with the fishers, to retrieve their paper logbook, to retrieve their specificities depending on the fishing type that they have, and of course build the right solution for them. Okay, so I will stop with this presentation. I will just show you, give you an overview of how it is actually working. So here I have presented you this part, so the e-logbook solution that is deployed here in this example on a tablet. This tablet is paired to some satellite transmitter on the fishing boat, of course. And these data, these catch data, will be sent through a satellite, Iridium or Marsat or whatever. And these data will be sent up to an operator, a satellite operator, that will send the data to a service provider. And here, from this service provider, data will be either sent, actually they are sent to the FMCs, so to the authorities that have to enforce, they need this data to update their fishing quotas, for example. So they use these data for enforcement and regulation purposes. They can also distribute these data to third parties, to RFMOs, for example, ICAT, whatever. So, or, and in our case, these data will be also sent to our Fishix data space. Okay, so using from here, in fact, these data will be either displayed on the Insight platform that Fabian has presented, or these data will be made available for our traceability app that will be presented shortly by our distinguished guest. Okay, so I think I will stop here. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to write down all your questions, and I will answer them afterwards. Thanks a lot. Igor, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Yassine, for providing us with some insights regarding the concept of electronic reporting and demonstrating a specific solution. Please let me also remind our audience today that any potential questions can be shared via the chat and will be addressed in the discussion part of the webinar later on. You see the public chat on the left side above the list of participants. I would now like to hand over to Mr. Max Rüther from Follow Food, a food company from Germany, which can be considered to be a pioneer with regard to transparent and sustainable food production. But I will let Mr. Rüther speak for himself. Please take the
Thank you. Thank you.